Are you moving to the Decatur or North Alabama area? Well, today's video I'm going to be giving you 6 steps to make it easier, plus a little bonus one at the end if you stay. Guys, my name is Richard Graham. I'm an agent with Dean's List Realty in Decatur, Alabama. And guys, I get it. Moving sucks. Was part of a military family, and what that means, if you're in the military or if you work government jobs and you get moved around a lot, then you understand the pain of moving to a brand new area, maybe knowing no one there, having no family there, and just having to start over again and again every time you move. So that's what this video is about, is how to make that easier for you. And you could be moving from across town or other side of the world, doesn't matter. If you are looking at moving to the Decatur, North Alabama area, make sure that you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. We upload a new video every Thursday, and so you don't want to miss it. And if you are looking at moving here, make sure to give me a call, text, email, however you want to get a hold of me. I'll be happy to help set you up on a meeting, and we'll get you in the process of finding that place to call home. So way number 1, first thing you want to look at when moving to a new area is, I know for a lot of people, you're probably still in your working career, so you're going to need a job. So I know for us, that was definitely the case. There are a lot of job resources you can look at. If you're government or looking at getting the government sector, you have Redstone Arsenal, of course, being a major employer there. You can go to USA.gov, look at the available positions there, and government jobs, as you know, can take a long time to go through that interview process. It's just slow. If you're private sector, then you may be able to just identify job openings within your company, which is a great way to see what's available. But don't be afraid to look at other companies outside yours as well. There's a lot of resources, and that's going to be really the first thing you want to decide if you're still working, is where are you going to be employed at. And then you're going to want to look at the cost of living. Now, North Alabama has a very good cost of living comparatively to other parts of the country. You can check out another video on this channel about the cost of living in Decatur, Alabama. But definitely look at do some independent research and see what kind of salary equivalent you're going to need to make here to maintain your standard of life. Great thing if you are moving here, if government position or someone else in your company, is there should be some point of contact within the company there that you can ask them about their thoughts on the area, what they like, what they dislike. Having an agent can be very helpful, but I love it when people move into the area have an outside third party as well, because if you have a trusted friend, maybe a family member, or someone you're going to be working with who can give you the real on what it's going to be like here, that is wonderful. It just makes it easier to know what you're getting into. So check with whatever agency that's you're transferring to get a job at, and see if they have a point of contact, kind of an ambassador for the area who can answer your questions. All right, so tip number 2, the next step that you want to take is you're going to want to visit the area. If you can, you definitely want to fly out here, drive here, wherever you're coming from, and try and see the place in person. It's so hard on a map to really get a feel for what the area is like. The great benefit, of course, of looking at the areas, you'll get to check it out. You'll get to see things that you like, things you don't like. Maybe you like a lot of nightlife and restaurants. Then Huntsville, Madison may be more your cup of tea. Or you like more of a quiet town, small community feel, but still has a lot of your big city resources. Stores, employment, things like that. Decatur may be a great option for you. That's why I personally love Decatur, is you get that small town community vibe, but you have all the amenities. I mean, there's a Target here. You're not going very far to get to your city conveniences, which definitely appreciate. Or you may be looking for that rural lifestyle, and so this can be a great way for you to check out different parts of the countryside and see what you really like here. So definitely come visit, spend some time. It's great when you can pair that up with an in-person interview. So if you're flying out here for an in-person interview anyway, I know a lot more interviews are being done online over Zoom meets and all of that, but if you can make an in-person interview, then make the most of that trip and explore the area. Go eat at some restaurants, go check out some places, see how you like it, where you might want to be. Step number 3 is you're really going to want to decide, it builds off step number 2, is do you want to be in the suburbs? Do you want to be right in the heart of the city? Do you want to be out in the country, in the rural areas? There are depending on where you are, you can look at quite a large radius of where you can end up, and each area is very unique, very different. If you're going to be far north, Huntsville, getting up there into Meridianville and all of that, almost into the Tennessee area, then that's going to be very different than if you go down south towards Somerville or Coleman. There's a lot in the area, and there is quite a bit of difference from going just an hour one way or the other, depending on where you're looking at. So really trying to establish where you want to be and dream a little bit, see what you would like. Lots of opportunities, and that builds into, you're going to want to look at what commute time it is. You really want to identify that, because that's going to narrow that search down for you. Once you know where your job is, when you know where your commute time, where you want to be, it's really going to help close that circle. Now, the next step that you're going to have to look at as well is really establishing a budget. I'm sure you're doing lots of online searches, which is great, and you're probably starting to get a feel for what kind of house you can get here compared to your current place. Now, if you currently own a house, then that step that you're really going to want to take is you're going to want to meet with a local realtor in your area and get a feel for, okay, what's the market doing locally in your area? What kind of improvements do you need to do? What has to be done to make this house sell quickly if you need to sell it before you purchase another house when you move? So you're going to want to do some of that back-end homework as well, as that can really help you know what your budget is going to be and how realistic it is to get the homes you're looking at. All right, so step number 4 is you're definitely going to want to establish a time frame. And now you may just be spitting something out there, especially if you're interviewing for some jobs in the area and you haven't quite got it yet, but you still want a time frame, because what that is going to do is it's going to allow you to break down that huge task of moving into micro tasks that you can, little milestones that you can check off along the way. So if you have to do some fixing up on your current house, you can start breaking that down into, okay, I need this done by 2 months ahead of when we're looking to move, or 3 months before, depending on what it is. Downsizing your stuff. I know for us, when we PCS to a new area, being a paramilitary, we would start trying to really pack up as soon as possible. I think when we relocated from our last state to here, we were 3-4 months before we started purging things, getting rid of stuff we didn't need. And that is something you want to look at too. If you're coming from a northern state and you have a lot of cold weather things, it doesn't get that cold here in the south. You may want to have coats now and then. Sometimes it does get cold in the winter. And by cold, I think we had in the teens, this past winter, but you can get some cold snaps, but by and large, it's going to be a way more moderate compared to if you're relocating from up north. So you may not need all of that heavy snow wear and apparel if you're moving here. So pretty warm climates. Of course, there's always a lot of logistics involved when you're relocating. So getting a good timeline established helps you move backwards so that you can just make the whole transition easier. Number 5 is you're going to want to meet with a local real estate agent. And I'm not just saying this because I am an agent, it's because of how important this is, having an advocate on your side here in the area helping you find a house. See, Alabama is one of the last buyer beware states in the union. And what that means, if you don't know what that is, most states are seller disclosure, where if there's known issues, the seller has to disclose it, which makes a lot of sense, because who's going to know the most about the house besides the seller? But in Alabama is buyer beware. So if it is something that can be discovered through a home inspection, then seller doesn't have to disclose it if it can reasonably be discovered. So there's a lot more that changes things a lot when you're on the buying end. You have to be more careful, do your due diligence. You should do that anyway, but it's even more so in a buyer beware state. And you'll want to meet with that agent, and really either through Zoom, or if you can fly out in person is great. You'll be able to, your next step there is just all the real estate stuff on this end, setting you up with the lender if you don't already have one, looking at your criteria and budgets. And one thing that can be really good, if you're not opposed to it, is looking at new construction homes, because that can sometimes be a really great way to get you something brand new. It's new construction. New construction, you get certain warranties and whatnot from the builder, as opposed to a used home. You don't get those same assurances and guarantees. And it can also work out really well if you're looking at it's going to be a while before you move into the area. Then you can, I mean, houses take time to build. So right now you're looking at 4 to 6 months for new constructions. You can have your place in the process of being built while everything is working out timelines. So that can definitely help as well. It's a good avenue if you're looking at a brand new home. Plus it's fun getting to build out your home, go through all the specs and whatnot. So new construction may be a very good option. And you can tour with your agent new construction homes. We can tour homes out in the country, get a feel for what the area looks like. And I think that is great. Even if it's going to be a little bit longer, we can still look at some homes now, just so if nothing else, you're getting a better sense of the area, what's out there, and what you're starting to see in homes. So definitely meet with an agent who can help show you the ropes of the area. And again, I'd be honored if you were to reach out to me. I love working with people moving from out of the area and relocating in. Again, as a military family, I know how important it was for our families having good agents when we were relocating who took care of all that stress for us. So step number 6, building off of everything else, it's really all about downsizing. Once you know what kind of home that you're looking at, you'll get an idea for square footage and what kind of trends that you're looking at for a house there. And so you may have to actually downsize a lot of stuff and get rid of major pieces of furniture and things like that. If you are, for a lot of you, this area is really a good cost of living, but sometimes you will be moving to something smaller. And so just getting rid of those things that you don't need anymore. Packing, you may look into hiring a moving company to help you with that part of it. And so that can be a really great way to save your back and take that whole stress off your plate. Yes, it's going to cost money, but it may definitely be worth it having movers come in and pack stuff up, or just load it up on the truck and drive it over, depending on what you're doing. It's just doing all the work. Try and set up weekly goals of what you want to accomplish. If you're doing a lot of painting, maybe you decide to hire that out for your current house, or maybe you're doing it yourself. Or when we moved, we were doing all the painting ourselves because military just does not pay a whole lot of money to move you. So we were doing a lot of that work ourselves, getting the current home ready to sell, ready to list on market, making things packed up and moved, all that kind of work. So just try and establish weekly goals. Try and, if you can, get things in bulk from local businesses in your area. Maybe they have boxes that they're going to throw away. See if you can get some of those for packing supplies. That can be a great way to help save some costs there if you're going to be packing it yourself. So now for the bonus tip. Step number 7, creep the area some online. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is there are certain things that as an agent I can't say about an area as it bumps into fair housing. Or I just can't say because it is too much liability for me to assume. It's outside my lane, outside my zone. I'm not legally able to go there. I would encourage you to really use the online resources. There is a lot of them to research the area. If crime concerns you, you can look at crime maps, crime statistics, and do deep dives into those things. Schools concern you, then you can look really deep at those school ratings, contact those schools and see if they'll answer any questions that you have. And kind of a fun one that not everyone thinks about is if you're on Facebook, look up the local community groups in the area. So oftentimes there's going to be things happening in Decatur, Alabama, or Huntsville, Alabama, or just these private Facebook groups that the people in the area are a part of, and you can kind of stalk those, creep those, and see what people are saying about it, because you'll kind of get a sense of the community. Not 100% accurate, but you'll see some things pop up on there that is just more information for you to look at, more things for you to consider. So there are a lot of resources available. Stock Reddit forums, you can look at those. But anything you can to look at the area, I would encourage you to by people in the area, as that will potentially reveal a lot about it and help you decide where you want to be. All right, so I hope that you have found this video helpful. Again, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We upload every week and you don't want to miss a video.